All right. Sonny Gray is on the mound, and he is about to deliver the first pitch of the game to Taylor Ward. Winds up and delivers for strike one. Swung right under it for the first pitch of the game. Gray is 1-0 on the year. Had a nice win in game one. ERA sitting at 3.6. And here's the second pitch to Taylor Ward. Outside, 1-1. If you are on YouTube, I just went through the lineups, but I'll do it again real quick. It is the same lineup as the last two games for the Angels, except Joe Adell and Nicky Lopez are at center field and short. Here's a fly ball to center. Easy play for Victor Scott, and there's one away in the top of the first. Just a 3-pitch at bat, and that'll bring up Luis Rengifo. Rengifo batting from the left side here today. He's 4 for 19 on the year, but had a good game yesterday for the Angels. Here's the pitch from Gray. Swing and a miss, an inside fastball. 0-1. And Gray is working quickly. Here's the second pitch. Fouled off his foot. 0-2. It's good to see Gray get settled in early in a game. 3-pitch at-bats, just trying to get through the inning quickly. And that'll allow him to go further into the game, which the Cardinals likely need at the start of this season. It's been a pretty good season as far as pitching goes for the Cardinals, but the bullpen just couldn't hold on at the end. There's the 1-2, or the 0-2, and it's high for a 1-2 count. Liberatore smiling on the Cardinals bench. He did have a good game yesterday. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Gray. In there with a nice curveball, catching the bottom of the zone. Rengifo didn't like it, but that's strike 3, and there are 2 away here in the top of the first. Let's see, let's make sure this looks good. Okay, I could fix the scoreboard a little bit. It's too low, so if we go, let's see, like this. No, like this. Wait, no, it was the first way. There we go. Should be easier. Mike Trout did not go. It is 1-1 on Trout. Former league MVP multiple times. About 100 career WAR, but he's only 2 for 17 this year. One of those came against the Cardinals, and he has 4 RBIs. 3 of those in this series, at least. Here's the 1-1. Outside, fouled away. 1-2. So Sonny Gray about to make his 11th pitch of the inning, and he has a chance to get out of the inning on this pitch. The 1-2 pitch to Trout. Right in there, and he smokes it deep to center field. And it is gone. Victor Scott made an attempt, ran into the wall, and Mike Trout has his first home run of the season as the Angels take a 1-0 lead in the first. You knew it was coming eventually. Gray left a cutter right over the middle of the plate, and Trout did not miss it. Went right into his barrel. Well, that was a curveball. So even more arc, straight into his barrel. He went down and pulled it right to center field for his first home run of the season. And Gray misses inside to Soler with the first pitch in that at-bat. So the Angels take an early lead. We will see in the bottom half of the inning if the Cardinals can do anything about that. It is 1-0 to Soler with 2 outs in the top of the first. An outside sinker that likely missed, but gets the call 1-1. Gray gets set and delivers. Check swing, foul ball, 1-2. Jorge Soler is hitting 176 on the season. Here's the 1-2 to him. Almost went, but did not. 2-2. That was a pitch way in the dirt, but the eye level, due to the tunneling, almost had him swinging there. Sonny Gray has a really nice pitch mix. He's thrown 10 strikes on 15 pitches. And here's the 16th pitch to Soler. Got him with the sweeper. Used that same tunnel from the previous pitch, and this time Soler could not hold back. So it'll be Lars Nootbaar, Wilson Contreras, and Luken Baker when the game returns, trailing 1-0 here in the first. Let's take a look at Yusei Kikuchi's stats. He has a 4.50 ERA this season in one start, but we can take a look at his stats from last year. Here's Z for Han. Let's look at Kikuchi. So he's 0-1 on the season in one start. It was 6 innings, 4.50 ERA, so I think that's 2 runs earned. So that's a pretty good game. Or no, that must have been 3 runs earned. Yeah. Still not a bad game. All right, let's see what he did last season. So he pitched for Toronto and Houston last year, so that's not too easy. He had a 4.05 ERA and 175 2/3 innings. 167 hits allowed with a whip at 1.2, ERA plus at 98. So a league average starter. He's the ace of the Angels this year. Last season was one of his better seasons. He was really good with Houston. So maybe the Angels are looking to have that second half. He had 10 starts with Houston at a 2.7 ERA, so that's pretty good. But the Cardinals look to put an end to that success in the first. Oh, sorry. Now you can see the actual stats. For Yusei Kikuchi. A lot of years where he was below average in Seattle, but was able to put it together for a very good season in Toronto, at least by his standards, in 2023. And had a good second half with Houston last year. All right. We are back, and here's the first pitch to Nootbaar. Up and in. 1-0. Kikuchi throws 47% four seams, 24% sliders, and 18% curveballs with 11% changeups. So he uses all of his pitches at least 10% of the time, but you can look for a fastball about half the time. The 1-1 pitch to Nootbaar is fouled. Nope, it's popped up in foul territory. But it's a play that Moncada can make at third base, and there's one away in the bottom of the first. So what might be the first time this season Nootbaar did not reach to start the game. So it'll be Wilson Contreras here looking for his first time on base this season and his first hit. Kikuchi settles in. Contreras digs in. And there's one out, nobody on for Wilson Contreras here in the first. The pitch swung on and fouled back. It was a slider. Contreras stayed right on that. It was probably his best swing of the year so far. But he was not rewarded for it quite yet. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Kikuchi to Contreras. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Got it by Contreras there. A very good pitch from Kikuchi. Contreras has had 19 at-bats this season on 19 plate appearances because he has not walked. And here's the 0-2, and he swings and misses at a pitch way out of the zone. And the struggles continue. He has started this season 0 for 20 with no walks. So that is a big struggle to start the year for Wilson Contreras. And that brings up Luken Baker, a home run threat with 2 outs and nobody on. Absolutely massive first, well, I guess he's a DH right now, but he's been a first baseman in the minors. And here's the 0-0 pitch. He misses outside, 1-0. Baker's 3 for 5 on the year with no home runs, but 2 RBIs. Had a couple big hits in this series. And here's the 1-0 pitch to Baker. A little low, 2-0. Crossed up the catcher on that one, despite it going through the zone, but that gives the call to the hitter. Kikuchi facing Baker. Puts a slider into the middle of the zone, which Baker did not chase. So 2-1 here on Luken Baker. Probably was looking for a fastball there, which is something you can do against Kikuchi because he throws it a lot. Here's the 2-1. Another curveball. I believe he called that a ball. He did. That was right in the zone. I don't know how Baker got that call. 3-1 on Luken Baker. Here's the windup and the pitch. Did he go? He did. Full count on Baker. Baker did not think he went on a slider below the zone, but first base ump says he went around, and it is a full count here on Baker. Kikuchi delivers. Outside fastball. Messed with Baker's eyes. It would have been ball 4, but he swung. And Kikuchi gets the strikeout to end the first. The Angels lead 1-0. So Sonny Gray will be coming back out to face Moncada, Chanul, and Ohapi here in the second inning when we come back. Yeah, must win. Must win guy on game 6. I don't know if it's must win, but it would be huge for the momentum of the team. And it's Sonny Gray on the mound, so it'd be excellent if we could win this one. Definitely bring the momentum back to the team, especially after 2 crushing losses to start the series. Because those were both winnable games. Usually you win about 1 out of every 2 of those games, but the Cardinals lost both. And they absolutely dominated the Twins, so it wasn't like those games were in question. But we'll have to see. Is there anyone that did not play yet this series that we could look at the numbers for? Let me see. So for the Angels, I believe everybody's played, but we can look at Nicky Lopez and Joe Adell. Yeah, no. All right, let's see. Those both sound like they were on the Angels last year, so let's just head over to their team stats. Joe Adell in right field, he had a 0.9 WAR with a 90 OPS plus, 20 home runs in 130 games, 84 hits. So a little below league average, but he has some power when he gets a hold of one. And it looks like Nicky Lopez. He was Jack Lopez, who was on the Angels last year, so they did not have Nicky. So let's get those stats. He spent a lot of time with the Royals and was traded from the Royals to the Braves last year, or 2 years ago. And then he was on the White Sox. That's why I didn't know where he was. Okay. 76 OPS plus last year, 0.2 WAR. So just a good defensive shortstop, I imagine, in order to carry that 76 OPS plus into the positive WAR. 5 stolen bases and a home run. So not a big threat at the plate, but he will be at the bottom of the order for the Angels today. He'll be up 4th in this inning if they get there. Or 5th in this inning, actually. All right. The game is back. And Moncada misses the 0-1. So it is 0-2 on Yohan Moncada. And he does not go on the 3rd pitch, so it's 1-2. Trying to catch myself up here. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Sonny Gray gets his first strikeout of the game. Oh, sorry, his first swinging strikeout of the game. Route number 1 in the top of the 2nd. And that will bring up Chenul. Hitting 286 this year. Gray misses outside. It's weird seeing him at the 6th spot. He seems like one of their better hitters. I would have had him over Moncada probably, but maybe they want him to drive in Moncada after Moncada tries to walk. Here's the 1-0 pitch. In there for strike 1, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is a fly ball to the left side of the field. Victor Scott makes a very nice sliding catch here in the 2nd and saves a hit. So very good defensive play from Victor Scott. And there are 2 away here in the top of the 2nd. Chenul didn't try to do too much, drove it the opposite way, and Scott had to make a play that most center fielders probably wouldn't with a sliding grab there. There's a lot of wind out in center as well, so it was moving away from him, and he was able to track it down. Here's Logan O'Hoppe with 2 outs here and nobody on. Popped it up. Looks to be an easy play. Scott makes the call and the catch. His hat flew off, so he's going to have to go grab that, but there are now... That's all 3 outs, so here comes the Cardinals in the bottom of the 2nd. Due up for the Cardinals are going to be Arenado, Herrera, and Donovan. I think that is the first time this season that we had no base runners in the top of the 1st, or sorry, on the bottom of the 1st, so Arenado will have to lead off an inning. But he had a lot of singles last season as well, so from a lineup construction standpoint, it makes sense to have him 4th. He's a good RBI guy, and when nobody reaches, he can usually lead off an inning pretty well. You have Herrera and Donovan following Arenado, so potential for a big inning with this deep lineup. The left-handed pitchers who threw a little bit sidearm, like at least 3/4, those are the guys you always wanted Goldschmidt to face, so it's unfortunate that he's no longer here, but Cardinals can make do with what they have here. Pretty good lineup. Especially with the ace on the mound. That Trout homer will probably stand alone for a long while with a guy like Sonny Gray. All right, we are back. It will be Arenado at the plate once everything gets settled in. Arenado's hitting .350 so far this year with a 1.035 OPS, so very solid. Something you want him to continue for the rest of the season, but that'd be an MVP season, so we'll have to see. I believe he's played every day so far, so He's being what a superstar should be and showing up for the fans day in and day out. And here's the 13th pitch of the game from Kikuchi. Up and away, 1-0 to start the bottom of the second. Kikuchi gets set and delivers. Fastball, Arenado pulls it, but it will go just foul into the third deck. Boy, if he got that straightened out by just a couple inches, it would have been gone. Freaked out some fans up there who probably never expected to receive a ball, but they got one. 1-1. Outside with a slider, 2-1. So Kikuchi's having trouble getting that ball back over the zone, but it's a tough pitch to lay off when he throws the fastball out there, so that's not the worst habit in the world, because the slider could come from that direction and get into the zone. So that's how his pitch mix works against righties. He throws that outside fastball, and then he pulls the slider in to the outside part of the plate to catch him off guard. And then he has that curveball that can get even more movement, but it's a little bit more obvious coming out of the hand. So here's the 3-1 to Arenado. A low fastball, and he walks. So that'll be the first base runner of the game for the Cardinals here in the second. And Ivan Herrera will step up to the plate. So 5-pitch walk for Arenado. And he reaches base once again this season. Here's Ivan Herrera facing Kikuchi, and there's a high fastball above the zone for ball one. Herrera's the catcher the Cardinals were very excited about, getting the opportunity to hit, and Pages is obviously a good defensive catcher once the lead is obtained. And here's the 1-0 pitch from Kikuchi. Inside, 2-0. So you want to start games with Herrera because the value at the plate is so big. He's 4 for 11 so far this season, which is a 364 average. But then Pages can really make some good plays defensively. Kikuchi steps off, still 2-0 on Herrera. He gets set and fires. Inside with a slider, 3-0. So if you're Herrera, you got to be really selective here, because what could be an at-bat that leads to a walk, I guess a plate appearance that leads to a walk, would set you up with first and second and nobody out. But if you take an ill-advised swing, it could be a double play. But there's ball 4 outside, and there you have it. First and second for Brendan Donovan in the bottom of the second. Donovan's had a rough series after his home run in his first at-bat of the series. And he looks to settle back in. He's hitting .250 on the year. 704 OPS. Still a solid start to the season for Donovan, but so many hitters are on fire around him that he looks like he's struggling. Same thing with Contreras and Wynn, of course, but they are truly struggling to start the season. The Angels are finishing up a mound visit with nobody out, runners on first and second, and Brendan Donovan at the plate. So we'll see what type of defensive alignment they go with here, ideally. I can't promise that because the camera might not show it. They are going to shift the shortstop to play right behind second base, so a little bit of a shift on Donovan. And here's the first pitch from Kikuchi. In there with a slider, strike one. The Cardinals had the highest OPS in Major League Baseball in lefty-lefty matchups so far this season. Way above the Yankees, it's a 1.4. And here is the pitch from Kikuchi. A slider, missed inside, 1-1. Tried to do the same thing again, but that time it was a little further in. First and second, nobody out here for Brendan Donovan. Kikuchi gets set, and the pitch. Chopped the other way, foul, 1-2. Donovan is a nice clean 5 for 20 on the season with the 1 home run coming yesterday. 2 games ago against the lefty Anderson. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Right in there, 96 on the outside part of the plate. Strike 3, and Donovan goes down. You would hope he would put a swing on that, but it was 0-2. He probably expected a slider. Here comes Jordan Walker, who was very good yesterday, but could not deliver with the bases loaded and 1 out in extra innings. So he had 2 RBIs in his first 2 plate appearances yesterday with a home run and a single, but he was unable to deliver right at the end of the game. And here he is today. Curveball low, 1-0. It's exciting what we've seen from Walker regardless. He's hitting .429 with a 1.17 OPS. That's what you like to see. 1-0 on Walker. Arenado on second. Here's the pitch, chop up the middle. It'll be an easy play. They get the flip to second. So there's 1 out on that. It was a check swing ground ball. It could have hit the gap if he had swung. But it was just a little too light to get through. And they make the flip to Rengifo. They're probably going to review that. No, they're not. All right, 2 outs, runners on first and third. Herrera ended up sliding into second base and hitting the fielder, Rengifo, but because Rengifo was standing on the bag, there was no call there, and there was no play at first regardless. So, first and third, 2 outs for Victor Scott here in the bottom of the second in a 1-0 game in favor of the Angels so far. He misses upstairs, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch from Kikuchi to Scott. Fouled away, 1-1. So here's a big opportunity for Victor Scott to get an RBI, and here's the pitch. Outside. Missed way out with the fastball, 2-1. Kikuchi seems to be having a little bit of trouble commanding his stuff so far here today. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Scott. Outside once again, 3-1. I think a lot of that has to do with the arm angle, because if you miss just a little bit, instead of missing up and down only, now you can miss left and right, and that's what Kikuchi seems to be doing a lot. But here's the 3-1 pitch from Kikuchi to Scott with Mason Wynn on deck, and Kikuchi steps off. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4 outside. So that was very close, but just missed outside. And that'll put Scott on base for Mason Wynn. So Mason Wynn looks to get his first hit of the season, now with the bases loaded. If he's able to draw a walk, even that would score a run. So here's an opportunity for Wynn to get his first RBI. He is 0 for 18 on the year with a couple of walks. The pitch inside, 1-0. I believe he has 3 walks this season. So it's not too bad. A 143 on base percentage. Just none of those coming from hits so far. The 1-0 to win. Right in there for strike 1 on a slider. So he snuck that one in there. 1-1 on Mason Wynn. Bases loaded here. 2 away in the second. Very important at bat for Wynn. And here's the pitch. In there for strike 2, another slider perfectly placed on the outside corner. And Mason Wynn is down in the count 1-2. 2 outs, bases loaded. Mason Wynn at the plate. He gets ready. Kikuchi is set. The pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball. He threw it outside. Wynn was expecting another slider on the outside corner, but it did not come over. And with Cardinals strand, the base is loaded in the second. All 3 of those base runners came from walks. So the Cardinals are still hitless after 2. Really rough start to the year for both Wynn and Contreras, and it still has not changed today. It'll be Sonny Gray coming out for the 3rd inning to face Joe Adell, and then Nicky Lopez and the top of the Angels order. So Nicky Lopez, a guy who had a 76 OPS plus last season, will be coming up second. Here's what the rest of their team was able to do. So their best hitters last season were definitely O'Hoppe. Actually, Neto was one of their best players. 30 stolen bases, 5.1 WAR. But O'Hoppe and Ward were very good, and Rengifo was good when he was out there. Obviously, Trout was injured, as he is their superstar. And Sonny Gray's back on the mound and puts one in there for strike 1 on Joe Adell. Gets set for the second pitch. The 0-1 misses outside with a curveball, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Adell. Right in the zone, fouled away, 1-2. So far this season, Adell is 3 for 8 with an RBI, so a pretty good start for him. A lot of contracts being signed around the league. Starting off with the San Diego Padres, who made a very big deal today. I'll get to that in a second. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 on a sinker, and Joe Adell goes down swinging. And that'll bring up Nicky Lopez. So after news of the Profar PEDs, the Padres are probably feeling pretty good about letting him walk, as he got paid by the Braves before getting suspended for 80 games this season. And the Padres got rewarded as they signed Jackson Merrill to a 9-year, $135 million deal. So he will be in San Diego for a vast majority of his career. Here's the 0-1. Fouled off by Nicky Lopez, 0-2. If you take a look around the league, Pittsburgh leads Tampa Bay 1-0. Texas leads Cincinnati 1-0. And Kansas City is tied 1-1 with the Brewers. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Gray to Lopez. Too high, 1-2. What did he just do? Nicky Lopez threw his helmet on the ground there on the 1-2. I don't know exactly what happened, but he waved back any training staff, so. Oh, the throw back to the throw back from Herrera actually hit Lopez's bat, and the bat hit the helmet, so that gave him a little shock there. And here's the 1-2 pitch, fouled away. So he's doing okay after that weird mishap from Herrera. Very strange. You only see that a couple times a season. And it is 1-2 here from Gray to Lopez. Here's the pitch. Inside, 2-2. He bounced that one. Pulled it a little bit too much. Gray delivers the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Sweeper right over the barrel of Lopez. He did not get down far enough to reach that pitch. 2 away here in the top of the third. And that'll bring up Taylor Ward at the top of the lineup for the Angels. A nice pitch from Gray there. He's about to throw his 35th here in the top of the third. In there with a sinker, perfectly placed in the lower outside corner. 0-1. The 0-1 pitch to Ward is a sweeper. He did not go. 1-1. And the pitch, the 1-1 pitch from Gray. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Sinker where he put it the first time. A repeat of that first pitch. That time Ward tried to go and get it, but still missed. So one more pitch could get Gray out of this inning. Here's the 1-2. Sweeper fouled off. Still 1-2. All right, Gray is set. The 1-2 pitch to Ward. Too high on a sinker, 2-2. Okay. The 2-2 pitch from Gray to Ward. Ground ball. Easy play for Donovan. He makes it, and Gray is out of a 1-2-3 inning in the third. So here comes Nootbaar in the top of the order, trailing 1-0. Let's see if I can find anything on that Merrill contract. Nine-year, $135 million extension, and then I believe there are a lot of incentives if he is able to stay in the league to get it up to 200 and something. And then there's a 10th year option for the team for $30 million. So a lot of people are saying it's a team-friendly extension. I imagine he loves San Diego, and there you go. It says it can max out at $204 million. So for a guy like him, if he plays like he did last season, that's an absolute bargain for San Diego. But he's still making $20 million a year, so should be plenty. So there you go. with that news. And we are back. It'll be Kikuchi versus Nootbaar here to start the bottom half of the third. The first pitch to Nootbaar is low, 1-0. So Nootbaar looking to reach base once again. He has a 400 batting average on the year and did not reach base to start the game. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball through for a base hit from Lars Nootbaar. So yet another hit for him. The Newts are flying through the stadium. And the Cardinals have another base runner here in this one. Just pulled it far enough to get it past the second baseman. Perfectly angled swing. Just like Donovan has been practicing all offseason, Nootbaar is finding the angles as well. Pulls his average all the way up to 4.29. And Wilson Contreras steps back up to try to get on base for the first time. Up and in, ball one on Contreras. Nootbaar on first. Contreras did some toe tapping there, trying to get that blood flowing in this cold weather. The 1-0 pitch from Kikuchi to Contreras. Right in there with a slider, 1-1. Contreras trying anything to try to get that first hit and get things moving. Contreras had 15 home runs last season in only 100 games or so. And here's the 1-1. Oh, Kikuchi tried to check on Nootbaar, but it was a very light throw. So the first disengagement is there. He is a left-handed pitcher, so it's unlikely that Nootbaar would be trying anything anyway. Here's the 1-1 from Kikuchi. Ground ball, easy double play for Rengifo, and Contreras' struggles continue. He wipes Nootbaar's hit off the board, and there are 2 outs with nobody on for Luke and Baker. How do you see the game, C. Joe? Well, you're going to have to find it yourself. So I'm not legally allowed to stream the game, obviously. So I will tell you what is going on, but if you want to watch, you would have to either get FanDuel Sports Network in Missouri or in the area, any area that would be blacked out, or get MLB TV for the single team of the Cardinals, or the full MLB TV and just watch the Cardinals. Kikuchi missed the first 2 pitches, 2-0 on Baker. The 2-0 pitch is outside, 3-0. So Baker threatens to reach base here, and there's ball 4. So Kikuchi can't find the zone with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Arenado with Baker on first. So a big opportunity for the Cardinals here. With all this wind in the stadium today, looks like it would be a good day to pull the ball to left field, and that's what Arenado likes to do. Hitting .350 so far this year with a walk today. Ump calls time and warns Kikuchi that he needs to let Arenado make eye contact. 2 outs, Baker on first. Kikuchi gets set, so does Arenado, and here is the pitch. Swing and a ground ball foul. 0-1 on Arenado. Kikuchi delivers. Arenado hits a fly ball. Easy play for the center fielder, Adele, and he will make the catch. So Cardinals will strand Baker, and Contreras did ground into a double play during that inning. And it is 1-0 Angels after 3. It'll be Rengifo, Trout, and Soler in the top of the 4th, facing Sonny Gray. He's thrown 40 pitches so far. Let's see. Any other big news in baseball? Of course, there's the torpedo bats, but we've kind of had that discussion. I don't believe they're that big of a deal. A lot of players would agree. Pitchers have had a lot of technology recently. They've had the sticky stuff that got banned, but that is probably a bigger advantage than any torpedo bat could give. Other than that, pitchers are allowed to use their technology. Even the pitch comm is beneficial to pitchers, so having a bat that puts the weight where the hitter likes to swing it, I don't see that as that big of a deal. But in Yankee Stadium, of course, anything that can lead to more power on your swings is going to make a very big difference because that is a small ballpark. If you look back at last season, it's going to be tough for Contreras to match his. Yeah, he only had 84 games played last season and had 15 home runs, so that's very incredible. Well, I mean, for him, that's about average, but just having that 136 OPS plus, it's a bat you definitely want in your lineup, so hopefully he can bring that back very soon. Let's get the numbers on there so you guys can read it. It's crazy Pajas ended up being listed as the starting catcher because Contreras played so many games at DH and was out for so long last season with all those injuries. All right, the game is back, so let's get over there. 0-1 on Rengifo. Gray gets set and delivers. Curveball at the top of the zone, taken for ball 1. Think that was probably a strike, but oh well. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Gray to Rengifo. Curveball below the zone, 2-1. Rengifo hitting 200 this season. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Gray. Swing and a miss on a 4-seam inside. Rengifo very late on that, and it was too far in for him to really reach anyway. Trout is on deck. With nobody out here, 2-2 pitch to Rengifo. Swing and a miss over the sweeper, and he goes down for Gray's 5th strikeout of the day. 6th strikeout of the day, sorry. Here comes Mike Trout. He homered in the first inning. It was 106 miles an hour off the bat, 413 feet to dead center. The only run of the game so far. And he's back up now. Here's the pitch to Mike Trout. Called a ball above the zone, 1-0. Second pitch to Trout, right in there for a strike. I believe Sonny Gray has retired every hitter since that Trout home run. And he looks to retire Trout for the first time today. And the pitch, too high, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch to Mike Trout. Easy little soft, you could call it a liner, over to Donovan, and he made the catch. So there are 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Jorge Soler will step to the plate. There is not a single player in the Angels lineup hitting above 333, and that is Joe Adell. And here's the pitch from Gray. Strike 1 on Soler. That was a little outside, but it was called a strike. So Herrera maybe has improved his framing a lot because he's getting a lot of calls in recent games. And there's another good frame for strike 2 on Soler. 2 pitches he probably couldn't do anything with, but Gray's getting these calls. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Hits Soler in the arm, and he will reach first on a hit by pitch. So that'll bring up Yoan Moncada with 1 on and 2 away here in the top of the 4th. But the fact that the Angels are 4-1 with no hitters hitting above 333 over this little stretch, it's very impressive. It means their pitching has been very solid and their hitting has been timely. So when they need a hit, they've been able to get it. Adell also has their highest OPS so far with a 733. First pitch to Moncada is a swing and a miss over a curveball. 0-1. Pitch from Gray is delivered. Another swing and a miss over a curveball, 0-2. So Moncada struggling to get the barrel down to pull one of these inside off-speed pitches. Here's the 0-2. Oh, nope. Pickoff attempt on Soler. Got back to the bag easily. Still 0-2. Here's the pitch to Moncada. Same idea, a sweeper inside. This time he fouled it back. Still 0-2. Sonny Gray is from Missouri, so he's a man who really wanted to play for the Cardinals. That's why he signed up to be their ace. He was very excited about the potential of the team. Hopefully the rest of the team can deliver for him in the rest of this game. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Gray. Another one of those breaking balls, and they say he went. I'm not sure, but that's another strikeout for Gray. And we move to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Herrera, Donovan, and Walker for the St. Louis half of the inning. See if I can finish this ballparks quiz that we started yesterday. Just a word scramble. This looks like American Family Field. And there it is. This should be a park. So if you get those letters out of there. It will be SUTTIR. We'll come back to that. This looks like Nationals Park. There's that. This one I still don't know. It's something field. And it has O's in it. Like Oracle Field or something like that. But there's no A, so it's not that. There is a D. Oh, no, the D's in field. It's not Oriole Field, right? Like, it's not where they play. This one's a park. Either way, we'll come back. Or at least we'll see the answers after next inning. All right, here we are. Game is back. It's the bottom of the fourth. Cardinals trail 1-0. And here comes Ivan Herrera to face Yusei Kikuchi. First pitch to Herrera is pulled to the left side, and it might be a homer. And it is a fair ball from Ivan Herrera. I wasn't sure with all of this wind, but he keeps it fair for a solo shot and ties the game. It's his third RBI of the year, first home run for Ivan Herrera. 101 miles an hour, 395 feet, deep to left field, into the wind, 1-1 here in the bottom of the fourth. Just a hanging slider. He did not miss it. Got the barrel out in front of it. Kept it fair. Beautiful approach from Ivan Herrera. Off the Bet365 sign, and here comes Donovan. Strike one, bottom of the zone, 0-1 on Donovan. Herrera getting some high fives and hugs. Tied the game here in the fourth. And Kikuchi delivers to Donovan. Late on that one, fouled it off, 0-2. So there's that hitting that we've been wanting to see out of the catcher position. And the game has... Oh, I can get it. Let's fix that. Here we go. 1-2 on Donovan now, as he hits a fly ball out to right, and Mike Trout settles under it and makes the catch for the first out of the bottom of the fourth. Herrera just homered for his first time this season and was able to even the score, and now I got the game back on. And here is Jordan Walker with one out, nobody on in the bottom of the fourth in a 1-1 ball game. He has a perfect 1.100 OPS so far this year. And here's the pitch. Ball low, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch from Kikuchi. Swing and a miss. Blew it right by Walker there. 94, up in the zone. Fouls it back, 1-2. Nootbaar has the second highest on-base percentage of anybody in the NL this season, and Walker is sitting fifth with a .529. So that's excellent stuff. And here's the 1-2 pitch from Kikuchi to Walker. Way above the zone, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch is low. Full count on Jordan Walker. Kikuchi about to throw his 58th pitch of the game. He's thrown 3 1/3, 57 pitches, only 28 strikes. So less than half of his pitches have been strikes, and that's why we have a full count on Walker. Here's the pitch. Fouled back. So there, now he has it up to an even 50-50. And the count runs full here with 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 4th of a 1-1 game for Jordan Walker. Victor Scott is on deck in case Walker reaches. Here's the pitch. Fouled back again. So we will stay full. Pitch 60 is popped up to right field. Another easy play for Mike Trout, and he will make it. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th, and Victor Scott will step up to the plate with nobody on. And the pitch. Fouled back, 0-1. Victor Scott has a walk today, hitting .350 on the year with a .941 OPS. The pitch, he tries to bunt, tried a drag bunt, but he missed it, 0-2. The sweeper moved out of the way of the barrel right at the last moment, and he was not ready for that. It's cool seeing a drag bunt attempt, though. 0-2 on Scott. The pitch, swing and a miss on a sweeper. He was a little out ahead of that one. And the Cardinals go down, but not before Herrera tied the game with a deep homer to even the score at 1. 1-1 ball game through 4. Sonny Gray will face Chanul, Ohapi, and Adele in the top half of the inning. It's funny how 2 pitchers can get the same results with such different approaches. Sonny Gray has gone right after everybody. He's thrown 39 strikes in 56 pitches, but because of all of the foul balls, he's only thrown like 7 less pitches than Kikuchi in the same number of innings. And they both only gave up 1 run. So it is what it is. All right, I think it's time that we just see the answers for this quiz because it's more of a word game. I'm sure if I remembered the park names a little better, I could get these last 5, but I doubt I will get any more of these. Truist Park for the Braves, Citizen Bank Park for the Phillies, Lone Depot Park for the Marlins, Great American Ballpark for the Reds. I don't know how I forgot about Great America. Should have been able to get that one. And then Coors Field, that's where the O's were coming from. I should have been able to get Coors, and I should have been able to get Great American. I'm not upset about Truist because the letters there I just couldn't see the word Truist. And obviously Citizens Bank, where Philly plays. The only one I'm like, no way I would have got that is Lone Depot Park, because I just don't think about that ballpark. MLB stadiums, can I get this by their picture, hopefully? Like without the logos? That'd be fun. Oh, come on. That's lagging, so let's just take a look at the game, see if it's back. It is back. So Sonny Gray is going to be facing Chenul here. Let's get you guys over. First pitch is driven into the gap by Chenul. It'll get down. Nootbaar cuts it off. Tries to throw it in, but it's an easy double for Nolan Chenul to start off the top of the fifth. So the Angels are going to try to strike back immediately on Sonny Gray's first pitch of the inning. And O'Hoppe steps up to the plate. Misses outside there. 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to O'Hoppe is outside again, 2-0. But they say he went, so it's 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch to Logan O'Hoppe. Fouled off of Herrera, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch from Gray to O'Hoppe. Upstairs, 2-2. So Gray about to throw a 60-second pitch to O'Hoppe with Chenul on second. The 2-2. Swing and a miss on a sweeper. And there's one away here in the top of the fifth. So that'll bring up Joe Adell, who has been the best hitter for the Angels so far this season outside of Chenul. Adell can hit with power. With Chenul here on second. One out. Here's the pitch. Fly ball to right field. Walker comes charging on and makes the catch. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. And that'll bring up Nicky Lopez, who is yet to reach base this season, but he hasn't had much of a chance to. As Gray gets set to face him here. Herrera is going to walk out and visit with Gray before the at-bat. So far this inning, Gray has only thrown 7 pitches. But that was enough to get 2 outs and give up a double to Chenul. So here comes Lopez here in the fifth. He digs in. Gray gets set. And delivers. Too high, 1-0. Tried to throw a fastball there, just lost it a little bit. Herrera had to stand up. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Lopez. Popped up on the infield. Arenado drifts back and makes the catch. So Gray gets through 5 after only giving up the 1 run on the Trout home run and that double here. Those are the 2 hits for the Angels. This hit gets stranded, and the Cardinals will come up in the bottom half of the 5th. It'll be Mason Wynn, Lars Nootbaar, and Wilson Contreras. And we can take a look at the stadium. So this quiz does not have the picture of the stadium. It just has the team name, and I have to guess the team. I'm going to guess the stadium name. So I believe Chase Field. Yep. Truist. I don't remember. Fenway. Chicago is Wrigley. The White Sox. I remember what it looks like. I don't remember the name. This is Great American. The Guardians. Target? No, that's Minnesota, but I'll just get it. The Guardians. I don't know. Coors for the Rockies. You have Comerica. Minute Maid. Or I don't know if it's still Minute Maid. No, they call it Daikin now. The Royals. Ooh, that was built in 1973. I'm not sure. I wonder if the Angels is just called the Angels. No. Dodgers is called Dodger Stadium. Huh. Maybe it isn't. Okay. Do I just type Sacramento? Do I have to type their... Oh my gosh. The A's temporary location is crazy. Citi Field. Sorry. I was trying to get Citizens Bank. PNC. All right. Let's get back to the game. Mason Wynn is at the plate here, facing Yusei Kikuchi. The 1-0 pitch. Strike one. Yep, strike one. 1-1 here in the bottom of the fifth with nobody on. Mason Wynn at the plate. Kikuchi misses outside, 2-1. Wynn steps back in, and Kikuchi will deliver. Here's the pitch. Outside on Wynn, 3-1. So a chance for another walk for Wynn. This is one of those games. They're going around the stadium. A lot of people wearing random jerseys. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul back. 3-2. Four different team jerseys in one picture there. Angels, Cardinals, Reds, and Dodgers. So people are just wearing whatever they want to the ballpark. And Mariners. Wow. That's pretty incredible. One in one photo. Here's the full count pitch to Wynn. Swing and a miss. Fouled it into the catcher's glove on a slider. So Kikuchi gets a strikeout there. And Wynn is still yet to have a hit this season. Here comes Nootbaar. The superstar of the Cardinals so far, Lars Nootbaar. He's 1 for 2 today. His OPS is at 1.27 here in his 6th game of the year. Here's the pitch. Low and outside on a sweeper, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. Low and inside on a slider, 1-1. He fouled it back. Kikuchi to Nootbaar. The pitch. Fouled back again, 1-2. That time it was an outside fastball. I would think Kikuchi would try to attack outside against lefties, but you see some stuff inside. Here's the 1-2. Sweeper below the zone, 2-2. Over in Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh has extended their lead to 2-0. As here's the pitch to Nootbaar. Outside, full count on Lars Nootbaar. You almost think about just walking him because he's a power bat. He could put the Cardinals on. But with the wind the way it is today, I don't know. Here's the full count pitch. Fly ball. Easy play for the third baseman. And he makes the catch. Moncada. And there's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th for Wilson Contreras, who has yet to reach base, as I've said over and over again. because I want it to end. Here comes Contreras. First pitch from Kikuchi to Contreras is up and in, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Contreras. Outside, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch is in there for strike one. Contreras trying to lock in here. He's settling in. Here's the 2-1. Up and in. He swings at what would have been ball 3, and it is 2-2 on Contreras. He really wants his first time reaching base to be a hit, it seems like. Getting a little more aggressive than he probably should. And here's the 2-2 from Kikuchi to Contreras with 2 outs. Up and away. Full count on Contreras. So, big chance for Contreras to finally reach base. He calls timeout to slow himself down. Let's see what pitch they go to here. They choose a low and inside fastball. Or no, that was a slider. Sorry about the angle. He popped it up to left field, and that's the 3rd out. So Contreras still has not reached base, and that is the end of the 5th. Still 1-1. I don't know what these ads are. Why are these allowed to make noise? Okay, let's get over to this quiz. Back at it again. I know the Brewers, it's called American Family Field. The Padres. I definitely know that one. I'll come back. The Giants have the big Coca-Cola by the river. I mean, let's get Bush out of the way. Is this just called Nationals Park? Yep. Camden Yards, there we go. Oriole Park at Camden Yards. That's what they call that. Okay. Progressive Field, I believe, is... Yep. What? They gave it to me with just PROG. That's kind of crazy. All right. Sonny Gray back on the mound. And Ward pops up the first pitch to right field, and Walker makes the catch. So there's 1 out in the top of the 6th, and that'll bring up Luis Rengifo with Mike Trout on deck. Pitch from Gray. Up and away, 1-0. Here's the pitch. In there for strike one. 1-1 on Rengifo. Here in a close one, 1-1 ball game. In the top of the sixth with one out and nobody on. The pitch from Gray. A little low, 2-1. Scorekeeper has the wrong count again, so if you're looking, oh, there you go. It is 2-1 potentially. Yep, there we go. And the pitch. Outside 3-1. The windup and the pitch from Gray. In there for strike two. The count is full on Rengifo. He is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today. And his OPS is sitting at .499 on the year. On deck is Mike Trout, superstar hitter, who has already homered in this one. Gray delivers the full count pitch. Ground ball. Gray picks it up. Flips it to Contreras at first, and there's 2 outs in the top of the sixth. So up steps Mike Trout, who's trying to stay healthy for a full season once again. Has a homer in the first. Hit it 419 feet to center. Or 413 feet to center. But he's only hitting 158 on the year. And here's the pitch from Gray, his 73rd of the game. Swing and a miss on a sweeper. Trout was fooled there, 0-1. And the pitch. It was fooled again by the sweeper, and he went once again 0-2. So back-to-back pitches, Trout swung at a ball in the dirt because he could not hold back the bat. And it is 0-2 in favor of Gray. Here's the pitch to Trout. Go right back to the sweeper, and he gets called out on strikes on one that was probably a little outside. But we'll take it. There's strike 3 for Sonny Gray. And we move to the bottom of the sixth in a 1-1 game. That's the 9th strikeout of the game for Gray, and he pulls his season ERA down to 2.45. It'll be Baker, Arenado, and Herrera for the Cardinals in the sixth. All right, I've had enough of the stadiums. Rate field, yeah, I would not have gotten that. Maybe guaranteed rate. Kauffman Stadium, I could have gotten Angel Stadium and Dodger Stadium. So it's not Dodgers, but Dodger and Angel. So that's what I missed on that. Lone Depot, it's kind of funny that I forgot it. I know about Petco and Oracle. Did not know about Sutter Health Park because the A's just moved there. T-Mobile Park, I knew about that. Steinbrenner Field, oh yeah, so the Rays are in a temporary location as well. They should have probably put that in parentheses by their name, because I would not have been able to remember that. Globe Life for Texas, that's a new one, and then Rogers Center, I knew about that as well. All right, let's see. Probably can't get Rookies of the Year. We could get MVPs. Well, I can't go back to 1931, but I can get a few MVPs. We'll do that next time. Next break. It'll be Kikuchi facing Baker to start this bottom of the 6th in a 1-1 game. Strike one on Baker. So good pitching from Gray has been matched by Kikuchi so far. Just one home run allowed by each. And here's the 0-1 pitch to Baker. Low and away, but in the zone with a slider 0-2. Baker's strike zone is enormous. He's hitting 500 so far this year. He's had a walk and an out so far, a strikeout. Goes outside and gets one and pops it up. Easy play for the third baseman Moncada, and there's one away here in the 6th. So that'll bring up Nolan Arenado in the 6th inning. Kikuchi's average miles per hour so far this game has been 94 on the fastball, 87 on the slider, 82 on the changeup, 81 on the sweeper, and 80 on the curveball. So all of the off-speed has been pretty close, and then the fastball up at 94. Obviously, the slider is faster than the other off-speed pitches. Here's the first pitch to Arenado. Ground ball foul. Tampa Bay has put one on the board against Pittsburgh, so that game is sitting at 2-1. Here's the pitch to Arenado. Low and in. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Arenado is a nice base hit. He serves it out to right field. Trout grabs it, but not before it bounces. So Arenado has a nice single there. 1 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Just a good approach. Waited for that fastball to hit the barrel. And served it out to right field without putting too much on it. So here comes Ivan Herrera, who homered in his last at-bat, to face Kikuchi, with Arenado on first. 1 out in the 6th. Herrera digs in. Kikuchi gets set. And the pitch. Ground ball, foul. So the count is 0-1 on Herrera. Second pitch is low with a changeup. 1-1. Texas leads 1-0 in Cincinnati. Kansas City and Milwaukee are still tied at 1 in Milwaukee. Here's the 1-1 to Herrera. Too low, 2-1. Herrera's hitting .417 on the year with a home run, 3 RBIs, and a 1.333 OPS. That home run in his last at-bat does a lot for those numbers, of course, but here you go. The 2-1 pitch is swung on and belted deep left field, and it's gone once again. Herrera takes Kikuchi deep in back-to-back plate appearances, and the Cardinals take a 3-1 lead in this one. Arenado scores. That one was 112 miles an hour at a 25-degree launch angle for a 414-foot distance. And Kikuchi surrenders a 3-1 lead to the Cardinals. Absolute blast by Herrera. He knew it the moment he hit it. And so did everyone else in the stadium. Off of the Big Mac sign, fries. And here comes Donovan. Swing and a miss. 0-1 on Donovan. Herrera leads the charge in the third game of this series to try to prevent the sweep. 3-1 lead for the Cardinals. Donovan takes strike 2 with a sweeper. 0-2. That is why you get a catcher who can swing the bat right there. 2 home runs for Herrera and a walk today. And here's a ground ball from Donovan. Easy play. And there's 2 away here. It'll bring up Jordan Walker. So Herrera, in his 3 plate appearances today, has all 3 of the Cardinals' RBIs and 2 runs scored because of his home runs. When no one else can drive you in, just drive yourself in. Pulls his average on the season up to 462 and his OPS up to 1.61. Jordan Walker fouls one back, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Kikuchi to Walker, with the Cardinals having a 3-1 lead, is fouled away, 1-2. So Walker putting some good swings on these balls, but just missing them. Fouling them back. Kikuchi is up at 97 pitches. This will be his 98th, so this 6th inning will probably be his last. Timeout from Walker with a 1-2 count. The 1-2 pitch, swing and another foul back. That was a great swing from Walker. I'm very surprised that he was not able to lock on that pitch. 1-2. Nootbaar and Herrera have been fantastic for the Cardinals, along with Arenado, who has a hit and a run in this one as well. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Walker. Outside. Walker's no slouch so far himself. He's hitting 375 with a 1.036. So this lineup is raking in general, but just unable to win those extra inning games in game 1 and 2 of this series. Here's the 2-2 to Walker, up and in. Ball 3, 3-2. Only a 2-run lead here in the 6th, so the Cardinals are going to look to extend that in any way they can. And Helsley will likely be coming in if they can preserve it. Here's the full count pitch to Walker. Got him with a... Ooh, nope. Called ball 4. Curveball caught the outside edge, but the ump didn't see it that way. And Walker takes his base. Here comes Victor Scott with Jordan Walker on first. Kikuchi has now thrown 101 pitches. Very unorthodox to leave a pitcher in this situation, but it is a lefty-lefty matchup. The Angels have Ian Anderson warming up in the pen, a guy who was a starter for the Braves, played for them for a number of years before joining the Angels this season. The game in Toronto between the Nationals and the Blue Jays is underway. 0-0 over there. Here's the first pitch to Scott. Inside for a strike. 0-1. Kikuchi steps off, still 0-1 on Scott. Here's the pitch. In there for strike 2 on a foul tip. 0-2 on Scott. Walker reached first on the previous at-bat on a questionable strike 3 call, and Victor Scott is now down in the count 0-2. The 104th pitch from Kikuchi is a swing and a drive. Easy enough play for Adele in center, and he makes the play end of the 6th. But that doesn't mean the Cardinals don't have a 2-run lead due to Ivan Herrera. Hit a 2-run bomb off of the Big McLand sign, and the Cardinals lead 3-1 off of 2 home runs from him. Gray has thrown 75 pitches in this one as we go to the top of the 7th, so he may be done. It is early in the year. We'll have to see. It is Soler, Moncada, and Chenul due up for the Angels. NL MVPs in 1931. I want to start off by getting that one. Cardinal, probably Stan Musial, but he played in the 40s, so could be Gibson. Let's see, let's start with Gibson. Sorry, Gibson was in the 60s. He was Kirk Gibson for the Dodgers as well. Okay, who's in this? Okay. And Musial was also the 60s, right? No, he was the 40s. Okay, so I'm really bad at this. It wasn't Musial. I think he played a long time. I'm not sure. Whatever. In 08, that's Pujols. And then in 2022, that's Goldie. Can I type that? No. I know Kershaw got one. Did Scherzer get one? He did not. So for the Nationals, it must have been Harper. Cubs was Bryant. Marlins was Stanton. Brewers was Yelich. Then you have Bellinger. 2020 Braves, is that Acuna? It is not. He was 2023, so that must be Freeman. There we go. And then 2024 for the Dodgers is Ohtani, who wins the MVP every year. Pirates is McCutchen. Giants, is that Posey? It is. Brewers, it's probably not Braun. Is it Fielder? Not Fielder. Yeah, Fielder. Oh, is it Braun? It is Braun. And then Votto. There you go. Howard for 6 and 07. Nope. Utley. Nope. So then it must be the pitcher. Lee. Not Lee. Halladay. Not Halladay. Halladay, Lee. It's not Oswalt. There's another player there. We'll come back. This is going to be Bond. There you go. All right. Let's get back to the game. Gray has a 1-2 count advantage on Soler. The pitch outside, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch from Gray to Soler, as we get back to live, is a ground ball foul. So let's see it again. Second 2-2 pitch from Gray to Soler is smoked up to center field for a base hit for Soler, and now there's one on and nobody out in the top of the 7th for the Angels. Donovan tried his absolute best to get to that one, but it was just too high for him to reach. It'll bring up Yoan Moncada with nobody out and Soler on. Gray is still on the mound for the Cardinals, throwing his 82nd pitch of the game. And the pitch. Too high. 1-0. I imagine the Cardinals are asking Gray to go deeper into this one because the bullpen has been used up so much by those 2 games yesterday in extra innings. Yesterday and the day before. So here's the 1-0. Strike 1 to Moncada. 1-1. Even Helsley's been used in back-to-back games, so you wonder if Helsley will get an appearance here and a save opportunity. He probably will, but 3 games in a row is a little scary. Here's the pitch from Gray to Moncada. Ground ball off of the glove of Contreras, and it's going to be a base hit. A play that you expect a first baseman to make, but Contreras is not used to playing out there. Hit off of his hand, and it is now 2 on and nobody out for the Angels. Snuck right past his glove and ended up hitting him in the hand. So the Cardinals are kind of fortunate that that didn't get any worse. But Contreras' hand is not feeling great after that. Hopefully he's okay and can still swing the bat. He was swinging the bat well last year with a hurt hand, so we'll have to see. Here's the pitch from Gray to Chenul. Ground ball, foul. Runners on first and second here. Big opportunity for the Angels to get back into this one. Tying run is on first base. Nobody out here. The 0-1 pitch from Gray to Chenul. Low and in, but he swings. 0-2. Chased a sweeper. Cardinals have Phil Maton warming up in the bullpen. He did not make an appearance yesterday, so he's a good option for today. The 0-2 pitch. Ooh, down and in on a sweeper, and it ended up hitting him in the foot, and now the Angels have the bases loaded with nobody out in the top of the 7th. So Sonny Gray loses an 0-2 count lead on that hit by pitch. He did attempt to move his back foot out of the way, but the ball hit it. So unfortunate for the Cardinals. And Herrera goes out to talk to Sonny Gray in this dangerous situation. The pitching coach looks on, as Gray is likely to face the next hitter here. And that would be Logan O'Hoppe with the bases loaded. Nope, Marmol's going to go out and talk to him. So the Cardinals delayed that. Probably to get some more warm-up time. Gray wants to face this hitter, though. Let's see. So Marmol is not going to take him out. Gray wants to stay in the game, and Marmol will let him, which I like. I think Gray looks good right now, despite the unfortunate start to this inning. Here comes O'Hoppe. With the bases loaded and nobody out in the top of the 7th, Gray versus O'Hoppe. Game in jeopardy here, with the tying run on second and the go-ahead run on first. First pitch to O'Hoppe. Fly ball. Deep right field. Back and gone. A grand slam for Logan O'Hoppe on a high fastball, and the Angels take a 5-3 lead. Sonny Gray put it where he didn't think O'Hoppe could get it above the zone. O'Hoppe dropped the barrel on that one, drove in all 3 base runners and himself for a grand slam, and the Angels lead 5-3. So that'll take Helsley out of the question. It was looks like a slider, no, a little like somewhat of a cutter above the zone, kind of hanging up there, but a little too high for where you would expect a hitter to go get it. But O'Hoppe went up and got it. A high ball hitter. Sent it over the center field wall, and that will end the night for Sonny Gray with a very disappointing 7th inning. And the Angels have the lead. So Gray's ERA balloons up to 5.73 on the season, all because of that inning. That's the way the ball bounces sometimes. You have a guy 0-2 with first and second. Looks like something you can handle. One bad sweeper can hit him, put him on base, and then you leave a pitch too high for a guy like O'Hoppe. And now you're down 5-3. So the Cardinals will bring in Phil Maton to face Joe Adell with the bases empty and a 2-run deficit here in the 7th. Biggio didn't win one, did he? No. Chipper Jones was likely an MVP. There he is. For the Cubs in 98. That's got to be home run king. Well, not quite the king. How am I blanking on that name? It was McGuire against Sosa. There's his name. Okay. Probably Gwynn. How do you spell that? Maybe not. Did Maddox win an MVP? No. All right. Maton's coming in the game for the Cardinals. Nobody on. The first pitch to Joe Adell is in there for strike one on a sinker. The second pitch, he chases a curveball outside, 0-2. Phil Maton trying to limit the damage where it is with nobody on. You're in the top of the 7th. Swing and a miss for a strikeout there. So Maton doesn't waste any time. 1-2-3 strikeout of Adell. 3 pitches so far and 1 strikeout for Maton as the Cardinals trail by 2 in the 7th. Here comes Nicky Lopez, who is 0 for 2. With 1 strikeout today. The pitch, up and in, and a strike on a sweeper. The 0-1 pitch is grounded to second base. Donovan makes the play. 2 outs here in the 7th. That'll bring us back to the top of the Angels order and Taylor Ward. Ward is 0 for 3 today. Has not reached base in this one. Hitting .227 on the year. And Maton misses with the curveball. Sonny Gray is very upset with his performance today, but he was good except for just a couple pitches, man. It's brutal. Fouled back from Ward, 1-1. It's tough because early in the season, a manager would usually pull your starter before that. There's a strike 2 to Ward. But in this case, because the bullpen had been worn down so much, Marmol tried to stretch him for an extra inning, and that's kind of where it blew up. You know Sonny Gray's capable of throwing pitch counts well above what he did today, but in the second start of the season, it's really hard. But I can't say I disagreed with Marmol. There's an incredible play by Mason Wynn to get the out at first. I'm not sure he was out. The Angels will review that, so it'll probably be an infield hit for Taylor Ward. And it is, so that's a single for Ward. Mason Wynn tried to make the throw. It had looked like he was going to be safe, and he was. So that'll be a quick review. And it'll bring up Luis Rengifo with Ward on first. But yeah, Marmol, I believe he made the right decision, and it just didn't go the Cardinals' way, because if you keep trying to go to the bullpen for 3 days in a row after 2 extra inning games, you'll wear them down for the long stretch of the season. So when you have a guy like Gray, who will only pitch every 5th day and has all of that rest time between starts, you expect him to be able to get these outs, and he got a little unlucky today and then left one up for O'Hoppe, and that's how it goes. Cardinals are still in it. It's 5-3. They have 3 innings to just try to score 2 runs here and even the game. Hopefully 3 to take the lead. But first, they got to get this out. From Maton to Rengifo. Here's the pitch. Strike 1. So it's 0-1 on Rengifo. 2 outs. Runner on first in the top of the 7th, and the Angels lead 5-3. Maton is set. And the pitch to Rengifo. Cutter. Top half of the zone. Swung right under it. 0-2. Rengifo is 3 for 7 against Maton in his career, which is pretty good. 1 RBI, no home runs. Maton settles and delivers the 0-2. Pulled and caught by Contreras. And that will end the Angels' half of the 7th, but not before a grand slam by Logan O'Hoppe puts the Angels up 5-3 after a hit by pitch from Sonny Gray led to a bases loaded situation. Due up for the Cardinals are Mason Wynn, Lars Nootbaar, and Wilson Contreras, and they will face a bullpen option, probably Ian Anderson, for the Angels. So let's take a look at Anderson, who I believe we looked at earlier, but we can get a refresher. So he hasn't pitched in the big leagues since 2022, where he had a negative 0.1 WAR with Atlanta. 22 starts that season. Now he's coming out of the bullpen for the Angels. He was excellent in 2020 with 242 ERA plus and 1.2 WAR that season, before falling to pretty good in 2021, and then had a pretty bad year, an off year in 2022 in Atlanta. This season, he only threw that 1 inning against the Cardinals, and he shut them down. So let's see if he can do it again, or if the Cardinals can bounce back here. All right. So Mason Wynn steps up to the plate, and Anderson misses high. Ball 1. 1-0 from Anderson to Wynn, who's still looking for his first hit. Here's the pitch. And he gets it! Single up the middle for Mason Wynn, and he breaks the spell with his first hit of the season. Thank goodness. Wynn has a smile on his face. He's finally reached base using his bat instead of just seeing pitches. Stayed on that one and drove it the other way, not trying to do too much, just using the barrel of the bat with a rocket up the middle, right over the head of Anderson. And Wynn has a big smile on his face on first. Pulls his average up to 0.48, and Lars Nootbaar steps up to the plate. Superstar Lars is 1 for 3 today, with a 4.09 average on the season. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Newt. Strike 1 with a curveball, 1-1. Big opportunity for the Cardinals with Wynn on first. Nootbaar at the plate in the bottom of the 7th, down by 2. Here's the pitch to Nootbaar. Ground ball. Foul to the first base side of the bag. Sorry, to the right of the first base bag. And it's 1-2 on Nootbaar. Cardinals are lucky there that wasn't a double play, because it was a hard hit ball to first. They could have probably turned it. And here's Nootbaar with the 1-2 count. The pitch from Anderson. Nope, he tries to check on the runner. Mason Wynn. And Nootbaar digs back in. Nobody out. Mason Wynn on first. Nootbaar at the plate. And the pitch. Swung on and belted to center field for a base hit. That'll keep Mason Wynn at second because it was hit so hard, and Nootbaar gets another hit. That's his second of the day. And it'll bring up Wilson Contreras with Nootbaar on first and Wynn on second, and nobody out here in the 7th. Another hit above the zone today. Something about those high pitches is hittable today. And here comes Contreras with a big, big opportunity for the Cardinals. Let's see if he can finally snap this spell. Curveball right down the middle. Contreras watches it go. 0-1. Nootbaar on first. Mason Wynn on second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Contreras is 0 for the season. And here's the pitch. Chopped foul, 0-2. On deck would be Lucan Baker or a pinch hitter. With Anderson being a righty, I imagine Baker's day is done. He had a walk and a strikeout so far. Sorry, yep. Here's the pitch above the zone. Ball 1 on Contreras, 1-2. I wonder if the Cardinals are going to go with Gorman or if they're going to go Burleson. If Contreras doesn't perform, here's the 1-2 pitch to Contreras. Smoke to left field, and it's the first hit of the season for Contreras. And Mason Wynn will come around to score. And it's a double, and they throw it away. Nootbaar will also come around to score, and Contreras makes it to third, and the Cardinals have a tie game, 5-5. Defensive mistakes by the Angels, and a huge first hit of the season for Contreras, and now everybody has a hit. Wynn and Contreras both finally step up, and the game is tied in the 7th. So now there is nobody out, and Contreras stands on third base in a tie 5-5 ball game, which will bring up the pinch hitter. Mason Wynn is having a lot of fun now. Took one good swing, man. We know he'll be up all season. He's proven he's an MLB ball player. Same thing with Contreras. And now they're finally starting to wake up. Anderson has to settle back down. And up steps the pinch hitter, Alec Burleson. That makes a lot of sense here. You don't need a homer anymore. You just need a good at-bat, and Burleson will give you that. So Burleson steps up with a runner on third. The first pitch is outside. 1-0. Ian Anderson only has thrown 11 pitches. Here's the 12th. Ground ball, foul. 1-1. Cardinals were able to use those 12 pitches to tie the game. Really only 10 pitches. And get Contreras to third before Burleson stepped up to the plate. And here's the 13th pitch from Anderson as the sun goes behind the clouds. Fouled back, 1-2. Chance for Burleson to put the Cardinals ahead here in a 5-5 ball game. The 1-2 pitch to Burleson. Pulled down the line, foul. Very, very close to being a double for Burleson, but just foul. Still 1-2 on him. The infield is in to try to protect the lead. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Burleson. Ground ball, right side. The runner will not try to score, and there's one out with Contreras on third. And that will bring up Arenado, the number 4 hitter for the Cardinals, with Burleson on third and the infield staying in. Nope, they will walk Arenado immediately. And that'll bring up Ivan Herrera, who is 2 for 2 with a walk and 2 home runs today. Interesting decision. But this time it'll be a right-handed pitcher against Herrera. First one was a hanging slider, which he hit off the Bet 365 sign. And then the second one, he got all of and hit off the Big Mac sign in left field. Big Mac land. Right off of the fries. Arenado on first. Contreras on third. One out here in the top of the 7th. Angels playing for a double play. Herrera is 2 for 2. Hanging slider. He took it. He wants it back. 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Anderson to Herrera. Strike 2. 4-seam fastball. Caught the outside part of the plate. Hopefully Herrera can drive in this run. Here in the bottom of the 7th. One out. Contreras on third. Arenado on first. The pitch. Ground ball foul. Still 0-2 on Herrera. Today, the Angels are 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position, and the Cardinals are 1 for 5. Herrera calls time. Still 0-2 on Ivan Herrera. And the pitch from Anderson. Too low. He did not go. 1-2. So Herrera has been the star of the game so far. But he still has more to deliver for the Cardinals if he can do something here. Contreras on third, Arenado on first. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 4-seam got right by him at the bottom of the zone. That'll bring up Brendan Donovan with 2 outs and runners on first and third. So Anderson has settled in a little bit better here after those first couple of hits. But Donovan still has a chance to get a hit here and give the Cardinals the lead. Smiling up at Anderson. 0 for 3 today. Here's the pitch from Anderson. Strike 1 on Donovan. Donovan's only hitting .217 so far. But here is the pitch. Fouls it back. 0-2. So Anderson got ahead in the count now. But still a big chance for Donovan here to give the Cardinals the lead as he steps back into the box. Donovan is 1 for 6 this season with runners in scoring position. Here is the pitch. Fly ball. Easy play in left field, and the Angels get out of that. So it was runner on third, nobody out. And the Angels are able to hold up, but not before the Cardinals tied the game with 2 in the bottom of the 7th, 5-5 after 7. So Maton pitched 12 pitches last inning. Mike Trout is due up first in the 8th. So Cardinals have a few options in the bullpen who did not pitch yesterday. We'll see which one they go with. Tampa Bay is threatening to come back on the Pirates. That game is 3-2 Pirates. Kansas City and Milwaukee is still tied at 1. Washington trails Toronto 1-0. The Cubs are underway in Sacramento against the A's. It will be Kyle Leahy coming in to pitch for the Cardinals here in the top of the 8th. He will face Mike Trout, Jorge Soler, and Yoan Moncada. Contreras and Mason Wynn both got their first hits last inning, and that's why we are tied at 5, as Leahy faces Trout in the 8th. Here's the pitch. Strike 1 on a slider. 0-1, count to Trout. Leahy is set and fires. Up and in, 1-1. Leahy's thrown 2 2/3 innings with a 0.75 whip this season, 3.38 ERA. Here's the pitch to Trout. Smoked to center field, but right at Scott, and he makes the catch. 1 out here in the 8th. Brings up Jorge Soler, who is 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch and a run scored. The pitch is a slider right down the middle for strike 1. Second pitch Up and in with a curveball. Soler is brought to the ground. 1-1. So he'll have to set back up with his equipment. Helmet fell off, so that's a little dangerous. If your helmet falls off before the ball gets to the plate, you might want a different helmet. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Leahy to Soler. Fly ball to center field. Victor Scott is there. 2 outs now, 2 fly balls to center. And here comes Moncada. He is 1 for 3 with a hit and a run, but 2 strikeouts in this one. Here in the top of the 8th. He scored last inning for the Angels on that Ohapi grand slam. There's a strike. Leahy delivers. Ball 1, 1-1. Kyle Leahy trying to bring down that ERA with that third pitch changeup outside 2-1. Just the 10th pitch of the inning for Leahy here with 2 outs. The pitch to Moncada. Looked like it was in there, but Herrera was unable to make the catch, and they call it a ball. 3-1. Moncada settles in, and the pitch. A little high. Ball 4, and that will bring up Chenul with Moncada on first and 2 outs in the 8th. Herrera will go talk to Leahy on the mound before he faces Chenul. Marmol might be making a pitching change just due to lefty-righty. Looks like he is going to go to the pen and bring in JoJo Romero in the top of the 8th, so that is what will happen. Here comes JoJo. Let's take a look at Romero's stats so far this year and his stats from last season. So last year, JoJo had 0.9 WAR on a 3.36 ERA. Pretty good. 59 innings. 22 earned runs, 125 ERA plus with a 1.153 whip. So pretty good from Romero. Had a better first half than second half, if I remember correctly, and a 4.27 FIP. So that's a little frightening. Not too bad, but not perfect. And let's see what Romero is up to this season. He's 0-1 with a 4.50 ERA, which means he threw 2 innings and gave up 1 run, and it was the losing run. That's okay. All right, well, let's get back to the game. It's starting to rain outside my house here. But at least it's not raining at the ballpark. What? All right, here comes Romero. He has a 1.5 whip so far this season, so that means he's given up 3 base runners in those 2 innings. 1 run. He will be facing Chenul, assuming there is no pinch hitter, and there isn't. So here he comes. Jojo Romero versus Nolan Schanuel, and here we go. 1 on, 2 outs here in the 8th. Romero is set and fires. Strike 1. Sinker right down the middle. Oh and 1 on Schanuel. He is 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch in this one. Fouled away. 0 and 2. His hit by pitch was the pitch from Gray that preceded the grand slam from O'Hoppe. He's been much better against right-handed pitching, with 11 home runs compared to just 3 against lefties last season. Here's the pitch. Strike 3, right in there, and they do not get the call. So that should have ended the inning, but the ump does not give it to Romero, and we have another pitch here in the top of the 8th. 1-2 count. 2 outs and a runner on. The pitch. Swing and a miss. So this time they got him swinging. The ump can't prevent that. And here comes Jordan Walker, Victor Scott, and Mason Wynn in the bottom of the 8th. Tie ball game 5-5. Curious where the Angels are going to go in their bullpen in this series that has been very taxing. Maybe they could stick with Anderson, but he's already thrown 23 pitches. And he gave up some runs last inning. So we will see. The Pirates have extended their lead over Tampa Bay 4-2. Nothing else going on in other games. I will be back in 15 seconds. All right, we are back. Wilson Contreras delivered, Mason Wynn delivered, and everybody has a hit for the Cardinals so far this season. That's always nice. And we shall see who the Angels have chosen. They're going back to Ian Anderson to face Jordan Walker here in the 8th. So, former starter, they think he can go multiple innings and be a long reliever for them. An interesting decision to go to him in a close game earlier. But now it's tied. Here's the pitch to Walker. Swing and a miss. 5-5. It is 0-1 on Walker. It's a 5-5 game is what I'm trying to say. Walker is 0 for 2 today. Outside 1-1. He does have a walk. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Walker. Called up and away, 2-1. That looked like it was in there on the corner. The 2-1 pitch to Walker. Outside, 3-1. So Walker, he got the benefit of a call to get a walk in the 6th, and now he is ahead in the count 3-1 on Anderson in the 8th. Off of another questionable call. So here's the 3-1 pitch to Walker. Swing and a ground ball. Base hit for Walker to the left side. through third base and short. And here comes Victor Scott with Walker on first here in the 8th. Walker did the little bird celebration, but not with a smile on his face. It seemed like it was like part of the job for him, but if he does his job, nobody has any problems with that. Here comes Victor Scott. The first pitch, swing and a miss on a changeup. Caught him with that. Scott is hitting .318 this season with an .860 OPS. He hit that big 3-run bomb in that second game of the year. And here's another chance. He's going to bunt. Perfect bunt down the third base line, and it's going to be an infield single for Victor Scott. So a bunt single for Scott, and the Cardinals have runners on first and second for Mason Wynn here in the 8th. Bringing back the bunt at the bottom of the Cardinals order. Absolutely love to see that, because when you have a runner in scoring position for Mason Wynn, his singles have value. And when you have 2 runners on and nobody out, it's even better. A guy like Scott, he's super fast. Got that leftward spin on the bunt. There was no chance it was going foul. Just a beautiful job. And now the Angels will have a discussion with Ian Anderson. With 2 on and nobody out, with Mason Wynn stepping up to the plate. This is another potential bunt scenario, as Mason Wynn is really fast. And you have the go-ahead run on second base with nobody out. I would like to see Wynn swing away, but a bunt would set up Nootbaar with a chance to hit a sac fly. So either way really works. I think Wynn should swing away. He just got his first hit. You just can't have a double play here. And that's a risk I'm willing to take with the speed of Wynn. They have the first baseman a little ahead of the bag now. Potentially the wheel play. Thinking he might bunt, but Mason Wynn just got a hit. I expect him to be swinging. First and second, nobody out. Anderson to Wynn. Here is the pitch. He does square around, but the curveball misses low, 1-0. Very interesting part of the game here. Wynn is 1 for 3 with a strikeout with 2 strikeouts and a single. The 1-0 pitch to Wynn. Squares around, pulls back. It's 2-0. If Anderson can't throw a strike, then it doesn't matter what Wynn's trying to do. He would just walk. 2-0 now on Wynn. He will square around again and pull back again. 3-0. Now you might just have him square around just to keep messing with Anderson, because he doesn't seem to want to throw a strike against a bunting player. 3-0 here. Wynn probably will just take this one. Here's the 3-0. Right in there for a strike. Inside fastball at 92. I would have told Wynn to square around and pull back there, just from a visual standpoint. Seeing how Anderson's body's reacting to this square around. But here's the 3-1 pitch. He squares around, gets the bunt down, third base line. They make the play, and Wynn is safe. So another infield single, another bunt hit for the Cardinals, and they keep the train rolling. That's 2 hits today for Wynn after none coming into the game. And that'll bring up Lars Nootbaar with nobody out, and the bases loaded here in the 8th. So they just played their third baseman too far back against an obvious bunt. Very, very strange. And the bases are juiced for Lars Nootbaar. Nootbaar is a .435 hitter with a 1.248 OPS, with nobody out in the 8th in a tie ball game. And that'll be it for Anderson. So his numbers have been inflated, and here comes a new pitcher for the Angels. See if I can figure out who that was for the Angels. So in their bullpen, they have Jansen, Joyce, Burke, Zeverhan, Johnson, McDaniels, Anderson, and Detmers. Can I get a picture of McDaniels? It's not McDaniels. It's not Zeverhan. Burke? Might be Burke coming in. Didn't get a very good look at him. Might be Detmer. I'm not sure. Have to get another look. It is Brock Burke, so my first instinct was correct. As Lars Nootbaar steps up to the plate to face him. So it's a lefty-lefty matchup here, with the bases loaded in the 8th. First pitch to Nootbaar. Low and away. Ball 1. Nowhere to put Nootbaar here with the bases loaded. He is 9 for 22 in his career with 24 RBIs. And 1 for 1 this season. So hitting .409 with the bases loaded and .435 this year. Misses away, 2-0. Just an excellent hitter, Lars Nootbaar is. And they have the infield in. So really anything he gets the barrel to and puts into the air will do good things for the Cardinals here. The 2-0. Swing and a high fly ball. Shallow left field. Will they send the runner? They will not. So Walker stays put at third, and there's one away here in the 8th for Wilson Contreras. Interesting decision. It would have been a relatively easy throw for the left fielder, but I would have liked to have seen Cardinals test him. At least by faking it with the runner and seeing where the throw goes. But that is a tough thing to do, especially on a shallow fly ball. So that's all right. Making sure you get that one out scenario for Wilson Contreras. Not a bad move. Here's the pitch from Burke. Inside on Contreras, 1-0. So Burke has missed the strike zone with all but one pitch so far. Maybe Contreras could keep that in mind. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Right inside, 2-0. So Burke has thrown 5 pitches, just 1 strike, and there's nowhere to put Contreras with 1 out here. The 2-0 pitch to Contreras with the bases loaded is high and away, 3-0. So Walker on third, Scott on second, Wynn on first, with 1 out for Wilson Contreras, who just had his first hit of the season with an RBI double last inning. And here's his chance, the 3-0. Inside ball 4, and he tosses the bat to the dugout, and the Cardinals take a 6-5 lead on an RBI walk for Wilson Contreras. And Jordan Walker scores. Here comes Alec Burleson with a 6-5 lead for the Cardinals in the 8th. So the go-ahead run scores, and the baton is passed to Burleson. He is 0 for 1 today. Contreras threw his bat about 30 feet in the air on that walk, as that was his first walk of the season. Burke blows one by Burleson for strike 1. Finally put one in the zone. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the lefty-lefty to Alec Burleson. Down below the zone, 1-1. So Burke still struggling with the command a little bit. The 1-1 pitch to Burleson. Down below the zone again, 2-1. If you're the Cardinals, you know you can be patient here. Make sure he throws one in there, but it is 2-1. So if you're Burleson, choose a pitch to swing at here and see if you get it. Here is the 2-1. He got it, and he fouled it back. 2-2. He was right in the zone, so can't fault him for the swing. Bases loaded here. 2-2 count. Burleson at the plate. Cardinals lead 6-5 with 1 away. Burke stepped off and stepped back in. Burleson did not leave the box. Kept his feet planted. And shifts his weight. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Burke. Popped foul. Still 2-2. Burleson versus Burke. Walker, Scott, and Wynn on base. Or sorry, nope. Walker already scored. It's Scott, Wynn, and Contreras on base after Contreras' walk. That was a foul ball back against the backstop. Still 2-2. The 2-2 to Burleson. Up and in, full count now. So action on this play, bases loaded, full count, and 1 out here. Burke has thrown 5 strikes on 14 pitches. Less than 50% there. Here's the full count pitch to Burleson. Fouled it off his foot. Still 3-2. Steps back in. Full count to Burleson. The pitch. Fouls another one off. An excellent at-bat from Burleson. That one was a little inside. Would have been ball 4. But you got to battle in this situation. Especially with a lefty in a lefty-lefty matchup like this. In Milwaukee, Kansas City just took the lead 2-1. So that's good news for the Cardinals. Here's the 3-2. Up and in, and it hits Alec Burleson. The runs will score. Sorry, the 1 run will score, and the Cardinals will go up by 2 runs, 7-5 in the bottom of the 8th. Victor Scott scored the run there, so that'll move Wynn over to 3rd. Contreras to 2nd, and Burleson now on 1st for Arenado. Bases loaded for Arenado in a 7-5 game in the 8th. Sometimes it's walks that are the big plays in the game. Helsley might be getting loose, starting to stretch out in the Cardinals bullpen. If he will go for 3 games in a row, we'll have to see. Here's the pitch to Arenado. Grounded foul. 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Burke to Arenado is a pop-up foul, out of play, 0-2. Arenado hitting .364 on the year with a home run, 4 RBIs, and over a 1,000 OPS. That's excellent. And the pitch. Pulled through for a base hit. Arenado drives in 1. And another run comes around to score in the form of Wilson Contreras, and the Cardinals go up 9-5 in the 8th. Big hit for Arenado. Moves him up to 1 for 2 on the day. Or 2 for 3 on the day, sorry. 2 RBIs on that play. Off the glove of the shortstop, which is Nicky Lopez. And that's what slowed it down and allowed Contreras to come around to score easily. 9-5 Cardinals, and they will go back to the bullpen before Ivan Herrera steps up to the plate again. Herrera has homered twice today, and he'll be up after this. An incredible inning. Arenado enjoying himself. Cardinals up by 4 here in the 8th. Arenado is 2 for 3 today with 2 walks, so on base 4 out of 5 times. Another incredible game from an incredible player. They will actually keep Burke in after a long mound visit and tell him to clean up this mess himself. So Herrera will get a chance to face another lefty today. He has faced a lefty a couple times today, and both times he sent the ball over the left field wall. 2 home runs already, and here's Herrera versus Burke. Burleson on second, Arenado on first. He is set and fires. Low and in, ball 1. Second pitch to Herrera, low and in again, ball 2, 2-0. Cardinals having an excellent offensive game to pick up Sonny Gray after a devastating grand slam, and now they're up by 4, despite the effort from Gray. Here's the 2-0. Smoked to left field again. That one's deep, and it is the 3rd home run of the game for Herrera, even higher than the 2 before. This one into Big Mac land, and Herrera has a 3-run bomb. What an incredible day for him. 110 miles an hour off the bat, 425 feet into Big Mac land, and the Cardinals lead 12-5 in the 8th. Absolutely incredible against left-handed pitching today. Nobody does it better than Ivan Herrera. Arenado and Burleson came around to score on that play, and it is a party. The 6th RBI of the game for Herrera. Strike 1, Herrera gets a curtain call. Loves hearing it from the crowd. And Donovan steps up to the plate as the only Cardinal who is yet to reach base on the day. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Brendan Donovan. Inside, 2-1. 12-5 St. Louis in a 7-run 8th inning. 3 of the Cardinals' 5 runs that came before this inning were Herrera, and 3 more there. Just all the RBIs you could think of from Herrera. 2-2 on Donovan. The 2-2 pitch. Up and in, strike 3 on Donovan, so he will finish the day 0 for 5. But the rest of the team rallied, and here comes Jordan Walker for the 2nd time in the inning. Herrera crushed that one and had a lot of words for the dugout, firing everybody up and tossing his bat on a 3-run bomb into Big Mac land. 12-5 lead for St. Louis. And it all started with Wynn and Contreras finally joining the party. Back in the 7th. And the Angels will go to the bullpen in the 8th. That's a strange decision. You would think they would just leave him in to finish it, but making a pitching change to face Walker. It is a party at Busch Stadium tonight. The team has 12 runs on 12 hits, and Contreras has 6 of those RBIs for the team. Never doubted for a second. Exactly, Zach. Exactly. They're showing that fight that we saw a couple seasons ago and throughout all of the 2010s, really. What you love to see is when you feel like you're never out of the game. Even after a crushing grand slam in the 7th, they were down by 2. They battled back, and Wynn and Contreras joined the production, and the rest of the lineup followed. if the lineup stays performing like this, which they're not showing signs of slowing down so far, it wouldn't be a bad idea to make a move and pick up another pitcher and just maybe give it a couple more weeks, but get some talks going as the front office, because if you can make a move and get a fourth really high quality starter, this team could compete with this lineup. This is a very deep offensive lineup. And Mason Wynn and Contreras, if they wake up, you can get performances like this all the time. Maybe not 12 runs, but very, very solid performances. Here comes Jordan Walker versus Detmers. Slow curveball right in there for strike one. 12-5 St. Louis lead in the 8th with 2 outs here. And Walker at the plate. Up and away fastball, swing and a miss, 0-2. Detmers last season had a 6.7 ERA in 87 innings, so kind of a nightmare season. But he's a guy you know can command the ball, put it in the zone a lot, so I'm sure he has a lot of potential to bounce back here. Another pitch, fouled back by Walker, still 0-2. On Friday at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central, Cardinals will be playing the Red Sox, so another afternoon game on Friday. The third pitch is a swing and a miss from Walker on a foul tip, and that is the end of the 8th, but the Cardinals put up 7 runs in the 8th, highlighted by Herrera's 3-home run ball game and his 3-run homer in the 8th. That's the first time a catcher for the Cardinals has ever hit 3 home runs in a game, which might be a little surprising, but not that surprising. It's a very rare feat. Incredible game from Herrera. And I imagine Helsley is not needed today in this one anymore. 7-run lead for the Cardinals. Headed to the 9th. We look around the league. Detroit is starting their game in Seattle. Those teams are both have losing records so far. Houston hosts San Francisco. San Francisco is 4-1. Houston is 2-3. Cleveland, who is 2-3, is going to San Diego, who is still undefeated at 6-0. And the Dodgers are 7-0, hosting the Braves later today. So the NL West will have some competition, at least unless the Dodgers run away from the Padres. Chicago has taken a 1-0 lead. That is the Cubs. They've taken a 1-0 lead in Sacramento against the A's. Toronto has a 1-0 lead against Washington. And Milwaukee was able to tie it up at home against the Royals. So that game is 2-2. Hoppy will step up to the plate to face whoever the Cardinals are pitching here in the 9th. With Herrera still behind the plate, it is Romero staying in the game. He only threw 4 pitches last inning. First pitch to Hoppy, outside, 1-0. Just need 3 outs here with a 7-run lead. Just attack the zone. First pitch from Romero. Sorry, second pitch, and that is strike 1. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch, a little low, 2-1. This is not what you want to see here from Romero. You just want to see it in the zone every single time, because if you don't walk anybody, it's incredibly hard to give up 7 runs. Here you go. Ground ball. Incredible snag by Brendan Donovan. And and he joins the fun with a nice play. 1 out here in the 9th. 12-5 lead for the Cardinals. First out by Romero. Here comes Joe Adell. Might even offer some bonus coverage after this, as Milwaukee's game is going to the 11th inning. Strike 1 there from Romero to Adell. Because that is the free game of the day, so I might be able to stream it with the video, which would be fun. I don't know what the rules are on that, though, so probably not. At least until I know. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just finish this with just the Cardinals game. We'll see. Ground ball to third. Adell will be retired by Arenado, and there are 2 outs in the 9th. It'll be Nicky Lopez with the game on the line. The last chance for the Angels. Down by 7. The Cubs now have a 4-0 lead against the A's. So they did not waste any time over in Sacramento. Here's the pitch. Strike 1 on Lopez. Second pitch. Second strike. 0-2 on Lopez with the game on the line. The crowd on their feet. 12-5 lead for the Cardinals to avoid a sweep and keep that winning record 4-2 through 6 games. The pitch. Fly ball. Play that Wynn can make, and he does. Mason Wynn makes the catch, and the Cardinals take a 12-5 victory in Game 6 of the season. Move to 4-2 atop the NL Central. Good start to the year. Great game from Ivan Herrera, who hit 3 home runs. And the Cardinals kept the onslaught moving throughout the game. Sonny Gray had a very solid start, ruined by a grand slam from O'Hoppe, but the team picked him up with 2 in the 7th and 7 in the 8th. So it was a tie game entering the bottom of the 8th, and the Cardinals made it a 7-run ball game by the end of the inning. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in Milwaukee. Uh-oh. There we go. So, the Royals did not score the run here in the 11th yet, so the automatic runner is on third. 2 outs in the 11th. I'm just going to do, big W, Zach. Big W. Ball inside for Koenig against Canna. So, I'm just going to watch the top of the 11th. See if the Royals can drive in this run. If they don't, then the Brewers will likely walk it off in the bottom half. Let's see. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Canna. Inside, 2-0. Just keeping an eye on the Brewers, because the Cubs and the Brewers are going to be the big threats to the Cardinals in the division, I would say. I think the Reds have a really scary lineup, but they're still sitting 2-4, and I don't think they're quite ready to put it together. De La Cruz and McClain are both very solid, though. There's a strike to Canna, 2-1. And of course, the Pirates still have Skeens, but they didn't make a lot of moves to help him out. The 2-1 pitch to Canna. Check swing foul. 2-2. So the Brewers are potentially going to give themselves a chance to win this game in the 11th if they can get Canna here with a 2-2 count. Runner on third for Mark Canna. He's hitting .333 this year for the Royals. There's a ball. 3-2 on Canna. I will be out of here after this at-bat, so let's see what happens. Just a little bonus at-bat here. See what happens in Milwaukee. It'll be Long, who will be pitching for the Royals in the bottom half of this inning. Koenig to Canna. Runner on third, 2 outs in the 11th. Here's the pitch. Ball low, so Canna will walk. And that will bring up Jonathan India at the top of the Kansas City order. This is a free game on MLB TV if you would like to watch it. I need to head out, but Cardinals win. Excellent game for Ivan Herrera. And I will see you guys soon.